Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful, perfect day here in Santa Barbara. And no matter what the weather is where you are or what time it is, I hope you're feeling warm and welcomed because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to welcome you to the Advancement Center, which leads you right into the world of magic and miracles. Where your fondest dreams can and do come true. Our gift to you is an accurate picture of you. Not as a worldly image that you have been sold and taught since your first day of school or the first day of rules and regulations of your formal education. Even as early as nursery school, when your behavior was monitored by a college graduate who learned from books. Did you ever think of that? Yeah, you've been monitored all the way up. Even those moments when you stared out the window at a bird that just landed on a branch outside. We've been monitored. And we here at the Advancement Center are setting you free to be who you really are and where you really came from. Ah. I guess what we offer you in discovering you is the gift of discovery. That alone is exciting. To this day, nothing beats the thrill of my discovering roots on little hedge clippings that I put in water. And I was so excited. And then I planted them in the earth in my backyard. And they grew. And soon I had a little hedge. I think I was 3 or 4. But that early experience really stays with me. And we celebrate the idea that you're going to discover parts of you that were never told or showed or recognized. Is there anything more exciting to discover than the real you? Just this past week, David, as always, thrilled us with his writing. And he's brilliant, perceptive, and delivers what he sees. And this one is called You Can Come Out and Play. And I'm going to read just a small portion. I was so excited and delighted So here are David's words. And the title again is You Can Come Out and Play Now. The dismantling of the resistance to your magnificence has begun. The clash between your brilliance and those that would like to control your brilliance, between love and hate, between yes and no, between knowing the impossible and hearing that you can't possibly know the impossible, and between unlimitedness and having limits placed upon you, is being won by the you that cannot be labeled. Love that. That cannot be put in a category, a box, or even labeled with a name. We will begin to look at one another and see the being that is behind the physical incarnation, the physical representation that is just one aspect of the full and expanded you. That one has always been there, behind the one that you see with your physical eyes. And even if one cannot see that within him or herself, each being, as they break free from the fear of being judged, rejected, and destroyed, will begin to see each being in the light that they have never noticed before. We have held that part of us. We have held that part of us back. And only those few that could see beyond the facade that we built to hide and protect ourselves could see the true us. And as the battle is being won, more of us will begin to drop our protection, drop the identity that we built to hide behind, and start to express the power and wisdom of the true being that we are. And the human entity and all humanity that make it up will begin to come out of the closet. Doesn't that give you a sense of elevation? A sense that you've been recognized. And I can really say, I see you. Which does not mean intensive care unit. It means I see you. Wow. And as I love to do, I say, numerologically, today's date adds up to a 6. You add up all the numbers of the date. And 6 means harmony. Unfortunately, too often being right has usurped the concept of harmony between people, where encouragement is felt and often remembered. You remember that teacher that encouraged you. Right in the middle of that wonderful word, encouragement, is the French word Kur, which means heart. Heart to heart is where the true language resides. Yeah. We here at the Advancement Center have always heard, follow your spirit. Follow your spirit. Hollywood said, follow your yellow brick road, but we say, follow your spirit. It takes you to marvelous places. Back in 2009, about 16 years ago, I followed my spirit to Australia from the United States and discovered Robert, the author of The Magic of Life. And I have here in parentheses, literally, and that's what we live. And our marriage bloomed into this advancement center. And has been called the beacon on the hill as soon as David joined us in 2017. Genya arrived in 2011 when we were just visiting the United States. We moved here permanently in 2012, and Adrian just joined us. I can't believe it's only been 3 years. I feel like he's my blood brother. Now, as the keeper of all the magic captured in print, I came across a wonderful piece that I share with you now. And I love the title, which grabbed me immediately, and it's called The Reality Beyond the Mind. Robert wrote this October 18th, 2016. The beginning of every discussion has a momentum that is foreign to the reader, even though there is a sense that detects what is coming. This momentum that is contained in what is being discussed is often too much to land on the page and be captured in one sweep. For this reason, we continue to expose the details in many different ways so that the reader can gradually accelerate and meet the oncoming data without handling the shock of the mass of change that is heading their way. On this occasion, we expose the fact that reality is physical and it is not conjured up in the mind or in a group of people who are fixed in the limitation of their own considerations. The event or the extent of reality spreads beyond the visible field, and its capacity to affect events is much stronger than the intervention of physical force or disruption. Reality is rarely part of the life of the human because it extends beyond the mental capacity of the trained mind. It is, however, available to everyone and can appear out of nowhere when events stretch beyond the acceptance of the human framework. Life-threatening events collapse the accepted framework of life and reveal reality in a totally different way to what is expected. A miracle can occur or a total change in the path of life, and there's no explanation. We are entering a field right now where the framework of the world around us is subject to collapse on a regular basis. Events will overpower the manufactured realities, and out of nowhere, our settled lives will fall apart to reveal a reality that we have never considered. The more this happens, the more real our lives become. And our acceptance of such a phenomenon allows the transition from dark to light without knowing where it is coming from. Fixed ideas will be withdrawn from your basic nature, and random flexibility will bring a calmness that increases your capability and simplifies your interface with the world and everything around it. As hardship changes its mask, you will see that it is self-imposed in many ways, even though it is caused by something outside your immediate control. There is always another way to accommodate everything. And if you look for the reality that is masked by your own standard of reality, hardship, it will simply disappear and be replaced by joy. You don't have to live with the hardship. You are being conditioned slowly to enter a new environment where reaction does not come against anyone. When evasion is not necessary and harassment does not exist. The forces of the universe have been acknowledged, and the correct interface is present and available. Can you imagine how excited I was when I read that? I said, we're going into new times. Robert has prepared us back in 2016. We're ready. We're prepared. And we are cared for. Nothing makes me happier. Now, this past Thursday was memorable for me. My pastels were all lined up. My sanded paper was ready to receive the colors. I got on the Zoom call to Mandar, my wonderful instructor, and he came onto the screen. And the other didn't show up. Jeannie was there just to observe. And Mandar said, how about we give this a miss? And I'll see you next Thursday. He must have looked at my expression. And then he invited me. He said, why don't you try one of the inspirations from last week and have fun? So I closed the light and joined Robert in the living room where he was watching something on TV. And all of a sudden, I felt a pull back to my art table. And this is what happened. I hope you like it. I love it. I guess what pulled me back to my art table was, how am I going to have a broadcast and not have some art to show? That'll feel unfinished. And so I had to do that. And I've been enjoying it ever since. It's been fun. Nothing is as thrilling for me as when Robert comes into the office and sits at his computer with a blank page. My heart is happy, and it is happiest when I share with you. Here it is, what Robert wrote. Now, what did I do with it? That's wild. Believe it or not, I've never done this before, but I'm going to go back to the office and get that writing so I can read it to you. Now we should play some music or something. I can't believe it. That is wild. I found it. Here I come, ready or not. It was sitting right on top of my computer. This is the highlight of my whole Sunday. Okay. Robert wrote, "We are now at a point where it is obvious that the mystery is clearly not a mystery, but a complicated conglomeration of thought patterns that equate to the possibility of realities that have yet to reveal themselves in our physical life. The logical mind has stepped in and presented a solution, but there is no solution. There is no problem. Therefore, there is no need for a solution. The mystery remains, and the way ahead is still open." Dynamic realities do not exist in the physical world, even though they are instigated by physical thought and imagination. Dynamic realities create their own dimension and store themselves throughout the universe in such a way that they cannot be disturbed even by the instigator. Once they are set in place, they can never be changed. In the physical world, if you cut a branch of a tree, it can never be replaced. The outcome is not necessarily devastating. New growth follows a mysterious pattern that can enhance your interaction with the plant or tree and take you into a reality that has its basis in nature, beyond the realms of human understanding, but totally in tune with the dynamic reality of everyday life. Dynamic reality exists, and we interact with it every day. This conscious manipulation of such realities is now at the fingertips of every person who can see the possibility. To continue, the logical mind must get into bed with the imagination and see the real depth of the mystery that presents its own solution each time it appears. Play with your imagination and watch the results as you would watch the growth of a plant as it responds to your personal interaction. Yeah. Bask in the wonder of Robert's words. And together, we wish you a perfect life with perfect health and a future wrapped in joy. Thank you for joining me. I am Barbara.